What's up? What's up? Come on into the Warrior Room. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. So, as I promised, this is discernment video number two, but this is discernment in dating. I feel like it was a very necessary topic, and there's so many nuggets of wisdom to explore in this particular subject. But I didn't want to make this video too long, so I cut it out. But if you want to see a part two of this, as you're watching this, if it's resonating with you, just say part two, yes, in the comments. Part two, yes, in the comments. That'll let me know that people are interested in this subject. And I'll do a part two on this. But I'm not going to hold you too long. I'll be dropping my reaction. Let's get into it.
I'm going to talk about some dating discernment. You need to be able to identify if someone is interested in you, like someone actually likes you, or are they just being friendly and polite? A trend that I'm starting to see in the research that I do, whether it's from analysis on social media, my research articles, or in casual and informal interviews with people, is that a lot of people don't have an abundance in dating experiences, like the dating and courting realm, right? And when we're speaking about dating and love in general, that is a muscle that has to be exercised. It has to. It's not one of those things that's like you put to the side and then you'll revisit when ready. No, like you need to exercise your love muscle. And this is going to look different in different ways. And the same thing about dating, right? Like you have to exercise that muscle. You have to flirt with the world around you. You have to throw compliments. You have to say the first hellos. But also in the experience of dating, you need to be able to identify the difference between someone is being nice to you, someone is just being simply polite and professional, and someone actually showing interest. And because a lot of people don't have an abundance in dating experiences, I think a lot of times they may misconstrue some lines and things may get blurry. And also having the skill to be able to identify if someone is romantically interested in you, you have to understand how do you show romantic interest in people. So yeah, just make sure that you're able to identify the difference in those things.
More clear on the.
And that's some serious talk there. And one thing I've learned too is dating takes practice. It is a practice sport. Like each experience we have with the new relationship, we learn a little bit more about ourselves. So we learn more about other people's tendencies and their behaviors. And it's a practice. And if you're out and you're serial dating, like take those as opportunities to learn about people, learn what resonates with you when you're interacting with the person. Like you'll be able to recognize, these are the things that excites me. These are the things that interest me. The subjects, the hobbies, the interests, the values, the beliefs. Like a lot of us, we meet, we fall in love, and we get so tied up in the fairy tale phase of it all that you don't realize that dating is something you have to practice. And I think people who are dating with an intention of like getting married, or they have a bigger ambition, they date with a different mindset. You dating to find a partner. You're dating to find a long-term relationship, someone to build a life with. So just wanted to drop that little nugget. Dating takes practice.
One truth. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone is qualified to sit at your table, especially when that table is built off pain, purpose, and personal growth. So let's get into it. Energetic discernment is more than just looking for the red flags. It's about learning to feel the frequencies that someone else carries before your body, your emotions, or your loneliness makes a decision for you. Your soul might whisper, "This ain't it." And your trauma might kick in and say, "Maybe it can work." This is when you pause, breathe, and listen. Because people can mirror your desires, they can study your blueprint, and they can tell you all the right words. But energy, that shit doesn't lie. Your nervous system will always tell you the truth if you're willing to listen. Every time you give access to someone who's not spiritually aligned with you, it costs you your peace, your purpose, and your power. You start shrinking just to make them feel comfortable. You start overgiving just to feel wanted. You start questioning yourself just to maintain a connection. That's a pretty high price to pay for someone who wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place. You're not lonely, you're selective. You're not guarded, you're wise. That is a major difference. Listen, you all, potential doesn't equal partnership. Chemistry doesn't equal compatibility. And spiritual connection doesn't mean emotional maturity. You can't create this false foundation with someone based upon if they heal. You're not here to be someone's lesson. You're here to be in alignment. And trust that your standards will never be too high if they're humbly grounded in your self-worth.
I went on a date the other day, and it seemed like the whole thing was going really well. It was a cute restaurant. The guy, I thought he was cute, he was polite, he was a gentleman. And then there came this one moment where one of the waitresses came up to us, and she was like, "Girl, you are so cute. You act like a fairy princess. Like, you're the prettiest girl I've ever seen." Like, she just kept going on and on and on. And I was really flattered, but like I was also a little embarrassed because like she was really pretty herself and she just kept complimenting me and I didn't know how to react. So I just kept saying thank you. And his face changed. And I was just like, like, because usually if someone's complimenting me, I'll just say thank you. I won't think about it too much. But like the face change in him made me feel like I shouldn't have received that compliment. And there came a moment on the date when he was like, "Oh, let's just walk around for a bit, walk off the food." And I was like, okay, because I did want to spend like 10 more minutes on the date. And he literally said with his mouth, he was like, "Oh, the way people are looking at you makes me feel so powerful being next to you. Like everyone's probably thinking he's such a lucky guy." And the moment that my car came for me to go home on an Uber, his face dropped. Like, I was like, what the hell? That's kind of scary. And from that moment, I was like, oh, this date did not go as he probably expected it to. I didn't know if he expected intimacy. I didn't know what he expected. But the face drop is the first time I realized, like, men will really hate you. Men will really hate you for taking up too much space. Obviously, not all men. Some men will think you're precious. But there are some men who will be triggered by your confidence. And you really need to be careful. And you need to recognize micro expressions in people's faces. Because not everyone's going to tell you when they have bad intentions with you. People rarely do. So you need to trust your intuition when something weird comes up like that.
It's important. Yeah, people's never going to tell you when they got bad intentions. That's when discernment is so important. And I really want to shout out to that sister because what I really like about that is she was paying attention. She was quietly observing his behavior, even down to the facial expressions and his attitude and his reactions. And see, those are things, those are signs. Like people are giving signs. They're telling on themselves all the time. They're revealing who they are, rather, all the time. And having enough distance to allow your discernment to guide you in those situations, I see that that's what this sister was doing. And I'm sure that whole experience was a learning experience for her, like that whole date, that whole process, that whole journey. And I love that she paid attention to his actions when she was getting complimented by the waitress. Like, look, if you are, and I'm speaking to males and females, like as a man, if you got a fine, beautiful woman on your arm, you should be proud to like show her off. You should be proud that people are complimenting her. Like it doesn't take anything away from you, and if anything, it should help you appreciate that person even more. Like this beautiful woman that everyone chose or that everyone likes chose me. You know what I'm saying? That should edify you. And if you're in a situation where your guy or gal is not being receptive to that, if they're jealous of that, that is absolutely a sign that you need to reevaluate and probably get the hell out. Because somebody who is confident in themselves, secure in themselves and in their relationship will not be threatened by respectful compliments from other people to your partner. Like, I don't know. Shouldn't that keep the fire going? Shouldn't that make you like, yeah, I'm glad I got what I got on my arm. When I get home, I'm going to show you. You know what I'm saying? So that's a sign, people. And I think it really reflects how that person feels about themselves. And if they're taking that negatively. And if they can't treat themselves worth shit, they're not going to treat you like you need to be treated anyway. Let's keep going.
To understand the fruits of the spirit because you then know what to check for. This is even relevant in your dating life because you can't put more expectation on your brother in Christ to pray for you, give you advice, help you break down some word. But with the man that you actually dealing with, or you might be with, you don't really feel comfortable with him helping in none of those areas. So here's the thing that you actually check for. Will that man pray for you, pray with you, or pray on you? Use your discernment to determine those things.
Attract because I'm attractive. What I accept is a whole different conversation, bro. But what I attract is not a reflection of my status.
That's the last part. That's the last part of self-work, because you can build this beautiful house that's protected with fence, but if you don't have discernment, then the whole thing is failed. So the last part of that self-work before you go out into the field is being able to tell the difference between the interested and the eligible. Between the interested and the eligible. And that's not a conversation that the eligible are going to tell you, because they're just interested. The last part, you can love yourself to death. You can elevate yourself to death. But if you don't have that discernment when you open this door and you let these people in between the interested and the eligible, you're going to miss it.
Tonight's conversation. Check them out.
I think one of the things we need to start doing more in our dating experiences is recognizing when someone is unwell. And what I mean by that is I'm in a relationship with someone and I notice that they are consistently lying. They're consistently dishonest, consistently manipulative. I'm even noticing a lot of abusive behaviors. And I have to be able to look at that and say, wow, you know what? This person is really, really struggling. This person is not doing well. And I think one of the things that we do to really disservice ourselves is we don't take emotional wounding as seriously as we do physical wounding. Like, think about it like this. If I were walking down the street and I see somebody on the ground bleeding out, I'm not going to be like, hey, so who are you? What's your name? I want to get to know you. I want to start dating you. Like, no, that would be absolute nonsense. What we would do is say, wow, this person is really, really hurt, really, really broken. I probably need to call an ambulance, police, whatever the case may be, to get them some help. And so we need to really start taking emotional wounding really, really seriously and being able to say, wow, okay, you know what? This person is really, really unwell. And this person is probably not in the right position right now in their life to date, to be in a serious relationship. And I think the more that we're able to discern that, the more that we're able to do that, we will be able to have better experiences, better dating experiences, right? So not doing it from this place of judgment or this place of like, oh, this person's like crazy, but really from this place of like, this person is not in a position right now to engage in a healthy relationship.
And it's okay to walk away from those people. And a lot of people, have you heard about people who they want to, if you find yourself saying, I want to take care of everybody, or I want to help everybody when it comes to dating. That's how I ended up with this guy. That's how I ended up with this girl. Because I'm always, trying to help people and fix their wounds. And I love how she put this. It's like, yeah, you're wounded. I love the analogy she made about if you see a person on the street and they're wounded, you're going to help them. You're going to get them help. If you're not a doctor, you're not a medic, you're going to assist them and get them help, right? And I think we should take that same approach when it comes to dating. Like, yeah, you look good. You may have this going for you, but you're wounded right now. And those wounds you need to heal those wounds first. And sometimes that might mean you can't be friends with the person. Maybe it's you turning them on to some knowledge, helping them find somebody to talk to. Or, maybe you are able to talk to them, but you're not going to be in a relationship with them until, you help them through their wounds. It doesn't mean that you have to give your heart and get involved in the reason why I say you may have to not engage with them is because if that person if they're modus operandi is to pull people in from their victim behavior or their wounding. That's how they pull people in to fix them and get them all wrapped up in their stuff. They're going to be coming after you. And if you're not able to fend off and set the boundary of, I can be your friend, I can be a confidant, but I'm not going to be your mate. We're not going to have a romantic relationship. A lot of people aren't strong enough to set those boundaries. And sometimes it's not even safe to do it. Sometimes it's just, yeah, you're a great guy, you're a great girl, but I'm going to refer you to my spiritual teacher, you know, or, you know, we can be friends and talk or whatever and text or whatnot, but, you know, I need to see that you're doing work over here to better yourself. And maybe we can look at a relationship in the future. Like, don't get pulled into the drama. Wounded people need to heal. I think that's all I was trying to say in a nutshell.
Spiritually gifted people cannot casually date, as they are gifted certain abilities because they are tools used by the Holy Kingdom, okay? So spiritually gifted people are normally going to be the single people. Why? Because if they have the gift of discernment, that means they have gift of seeing, they have gift of even smelling unclean spirits, and God will speak to them through visions being awake or visions being asleep. Now, spiritually gifted people, when they encounter somebody, sensors go off, okay? So they may get something in a short amount of time that this person is not of God, and that is the discernment that they're going to receive, right? In some cases, they're going to smell a pungent smell on somebody, and they're going to know, okay, that's an unclean spirit. Some cases, they might see that person's face shapeshift in the natural, and they're like, whoa, hold on, something is not right about that. And God will also give a vision, like I said, whether sleep or awake, to show the true essence of that person's spirit. So when people are wondering why spiritually gifted people are single, this is why. Because the gift that God has given us is for us to fight warfare on behalf of God's glory. So when we're dating people, you have to understand that the devil will attack us through a mate. That is one of his most strategic, historical, all-time weapon. That's why Jezebels and prophets, narcissists and empaths, you notice that they're always somehow joined together, and one person is being destroyed and their light is being dimmed. That is a person that do not understand the spiritual gift that God has for them and their calling. But the opposite, the dark side, does know that, and then that's why that side is normally attracted to the light, which are empaths and what was the other one I mentioned? Empaths and people of God. Like, they are going to find themselves to attract to these people to destroy them, because let me tell you something, both are on an assignment, right? One is to heal, the other is to destroy. So you got to know who you are and what your calling is, and you cannot just be casually dating. So those that are spiritually gifted, why we can't date? Well, we already see you. You ain't even got whatever you tell us on your profile, whatever looks good on black and white. We're not gonna move forward with what God has already shown us. And that is a very high percentage of the population. You know, there are very few that are truly walking with the light on them. And so when you know who you are, you know who you're called to be, you cannot just pair with anybody. That is dangerous grounds. It's like walking on landmines with bombs. Like, you will literally kill yourself, destroy yourself, pairing with somebody that is not for you. Somebody that is designed. They are designed to take you out. So we can't date everybody, and that's why we're normally single.
What y'all think about that one? What do y'all think about that one? Because I know that that can be scary to a lot of people, but it makes me think about, and it's something I've seen in my own life too, because I'm like, it seems like the spiritual people are always single, or they go through very long periods of time of being single. And, you know, most are okay with it. But I'm like, dang, does that mean something wrong with spiritual people? Can we just not connect with people? Like, would think the spiritual people would easily attract relationships, right? But it takes so much to be in the world and maintain mental health and a high vibration to be in the world. And relationships can be very draining, good and bad. And I don't mean draining in the sense of like it just pulls all your energy, but you put a lot of time, you put a lot of effort, you put a lot of focus into building a healthy relationship. And so I think the reason why her words hit home is because if you're attracting somebody who doesn't mean well, it's going to be a drain on you. Because what I learned when it comes to spiritual work and when you're growing and clearing out stuff, the stuff that you really need to work on is the stuff that's going to come up. And usually it's the really challenging, deep, harder lessons we have to learn, the stuff that we have to fight with. So that's why it's so important to really be mindful of who's coming to your space. Yeah, we want to learn these lessons. We want to learn and grow. But when you entangle with someone who, is going to trigger the stuff that you need to work out, they need to be healthy enough and balanced enough to be able to weather those storms with you. And I think because people are in such different places on our journeys at all times, when we come across from each other, it's kind of hard to find that connection. I do believe through divine guidance and patience, we do get those connections. Sometimes they come in the form of friendships. They might come in the form of family. But when it comes to that relationship part, it just takes a whole new level of awareness and a whole new level of kind of self-resolve to navigate through that. So I hope that makes sense, because what she said spoke to me. But what I like about it is often that being alone or being single, whether it often comes with a sense of comfort. You know, you're okay being alone. You're okay. Well, I won't say being alone, being single. And you're okay during those periods between relationships. I'll put it like that. But I want to know if that resonated with you. Like, do you agree with what she said about spiritual people being alone? And do you think it should be that way? Is that okay or not? Let's keep going.
Oh, so dating in 2025 is fucking horrible. This shit fucking horrible. Like, I just can't believe I'm in this generation sometime. Like, in a world full of all the women want to be a bad bitch, who gonna be the good woman? Like, who gonna be the good woman? Then when you do be the good woman, a nigga don't know how to deal with you for real, because he used to fucked up hoes. So all the fucked up women he ever dealt with, he putting that on you. And that shit be so fucked up, because when I meet new men, I just don't put that shit on them. I done dealt with so many fucked up men, but the next men I deal with, I don't put that on them. I don't come into the dynamic with no trust issues. I don't come into the dynamic to think they fucking somebody else. I don't come into the dynamic with none of that shit. Like, I'm real old school. Like, my mom and my daddy been married for 45 years, so it's a lot of shit I seen. Like, I seen my mama getting up in the middle of the night and fixing my daddy plate. So when I deal with men, that's naturally something I do. A man, when he dealing with me, you ain't got to ever fix your plate. I'ma do it. But you also gotta be careful too, because being a woman like that, being a good woman like that in this generation, you wanna attract men who don't wanna give you no reciprocation. You could do all that for the man, but he ain't gonna give you shit. It ain't shit. You nothing. He's not gonna give you nothing. He's not gonna give you no emotions. He's not gonna give you no, like, I don't know, like me. One of my love languages is physical touch. Like, I like to be touched. I like to be hugged. I like to be kissed. Niggas nowadays, like, they not coming with that only because they done dealt with so many fucked up women, and now it's like, But then that's when I'm telling women, when you a good woman, baby, just go ahead and get the fuck on. Just go ahead and get the fuck on, because you gotta be in alignment with that shit to really receive what you're looking for, and you can get what you want. You very much well can get what you want. You gotta start dealing with the busters who ain't trying to give you that. You gotta start dealing with the motherfuckers who ain't trying to give you that. And I tell myself this all the time. I'm a good woman. I'm a hustler. You feel me? What? I just gotta stop dealing with the motherfuckers who ain't trying to give me that. Because the one that's trying to give you that, boy, he gonna make himself known like, yeah, I'm like this here. He ain't gonna play about you, or he not gonna play with you. You gotta really know who you dealing with out here, bro, because you can get tricked. You really can get tricked.
And be lying because y'all be believing them. Works. If it didn't work, men wouldn't do it. If you required a man to actually show you his true character through actions for a substantial amount of time, I'm talking seasons of his life, to verify all the things that he is saying he is or he ain't, before you gave him pieces of yourself you can't get back, these wouldn't be able to do it. They would not be able to fool you consistently. But you take what a man says. He's bombing you with love because maybe your defense system ain't together. Your discernment ain't sharpened. Your discipline isn't there for you to say, you know what? Although I like this man, let me wait before I give him something I can't get back until I verify this man is who he is. You don't do that. So instead of you doing that, you want that deceiver, that gaslighter, that person that is used to lying and getting good results because he lies. You want him to change. So I don't have to do proper vetting myself. At some point, you got to say, I need to be better. I need to stop giving that ain't earned it through time. I gotta stop allowing a man's words to dictate my actions. Wouldn't it be easier for you, I don't know, to learn how to defend and protect your peace?
A lot of time.
I just wanted to put in a moment of silence after that one, because those were two clips back to back that was just dropping too many nuggets, too many bangers, and I just wanted to take a minute to let y'all absorb what that lady and what that gentleman was saying. That's why I put those two videos back to back. Let's keep flowing.
When you run into relational droughts, relationship droughts, once upon a time, relationally, you ran into someone high ranking, or you ran into someone connected to someone with high rank, someone with enough rank to where they could use that person as a pawn against you, even if that person was your significant other, husband, wife, or fiance, or beau to be, or whatever it may be. But you ran into someone with high ranking. And this drought that you are feeling relationally is because there were some people behind your back that attacked you. They attacked you and you defeated these attacks, whether they were known to you or whether you were oblivious and blindsided. But you defeated them in a way, and you defeated them in a spiritual way, not a carnal way of fisticuffs, shooting, going to jail, police getting involved. You defeated it in the spirit in such a way that they were warned about who you were in spirit. So much so that it is publicly known that you are one who is endowed with high levels of discernment. It's much like the phrase we use concerning the temples, come as you are, or accept me as I am in relationship. It's like the same. It's not that you won't accept a person as they are, because it's like you to connect to people and you like, man, won't they be real? Like, I'll be real with you, you be real with me. Like, I'm not a judger of persons. But people are uncomfortable around you because if they are exercising demons, it has already been foretold that you're going to see them. And see what it is in relationships. When we typically find out about a person's demon, it is by default and not by their own admission. It's usually too little, too late, or hindsight is always 20/20 when you find out about people. You are feeling droughts relationally because you are known spiritually. So you are a very rare and respected breed of being. It's not that you're unattractive. It's not that you're unlikable. It's not that you don't have a personality or you're not charismatic. No, there is a calling on you and you discern. And people want the opportunity to either tell you what they going through or what they dealing with, or to hide it from you if you don't have the spiritual discernment to pick up on it. And so that's why you're going through kind of like a little relationship hiatus right now.
Nuggets for real, nuggets for real. And one thing I'll say about that is those periods of people, we need periods of rest after a relationship. You need a time of reflection after a relationship ends, whether you ended it or whether you did not end it, or whether you did not end it. We need those moments to reflect on what happened. What did we learn from it? How did this impact us? What do we want to take away from this relationship? What do we want to take into our next relationship? What about this experience made me better? What is some shit that it revealed about myself that I know I don't really like? I may not say this stuff to another person, but I know I handled this wrong. I know I could have done this better. They brought up my jealousy. They brought up my possession issues. Dang, when she used to say this used to make me so mad. And you know, if you met another person and they did the same stuff, it's going to make you mad again. That's the stuff you got to work out. If you are someone who find yourself always in a relationship, serial relationship, never alone, take a moment to pause and grow and reflect so that you'll be in a better, healthier place when the next one shows up. And 9 times out of 10, if you've done your work, even if there is yet more work to do, the quality of people that you will start attracting will be better, because you're not attracting them from a place of the insecurities and the BS that you've been carrying around. You're clearing all that stuff out and making room for new people who don't have those issues and who won't pull those same triggers in you. But anyway, I thought these were some good nuggets. Like I said, there's so much more on this subject, some deeper insights. If you want to see them, if you want me to do another video on it, put yes part 2 or part 2 yes in the comments. Thank you for the people who've been subscribing, liking the channel, commenting. And we're going to get into it. We're going to do some more. Thank you for chilling out with the Warrior Metaphysic, and I will see you in the next one. This has been Discernment in Dating. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out those TikTok creators if any of them resonated with you. I hope they all did, and I hope you learned something. Oh, and I meant to say this. If you want to check out the full discernment video, this is just about spiritual discernment in general and why it's important. It is the video that's going to be recommended here. Check that one out. All right. See you next time.